Welcome back to another edition of San Francisco. We have a tournament game here. This is continuing the Santa Clara Game Kastle tournament. So this is, what is this, match 4. This is the first game in match 4, so this is a 5-match tournament. And I am playing against Peter here. So Peter's on the left playing NBN, and I am on the right playing Gabe. That is the alternate art NBN, which he told me that he got from somebody on the Something Awful forums. So someone was sending those out to people. So it pays to subscribe to these different forums, apparently. So he seemed, I think he mulliganed, he said. So he got looks like he has a hedge fund in there, a Beal, NAPD, a marked account, and I believe 1 ice. Yeah, I can't, the ice, then, 2 NAPD, and then I can't quite tell what the ice is, but hopefully something that'll keep me out of HQ. So I got a silencer, sneak door, and indexing, a couple other cards. So yeah, this is a great opening. I have a data sucker and dirty laundry. This is the type of thing. This is the good stuff. So he installed, drew a card, and hedge fund. So I get data sucker, and then I will, doesn't have any defense against that. So that's the right order to do that, and get my data sucker token, possibly get another 2 tokens if things work out. So it doesn't look too profitable here. I see a toll booth, a pad campaign. Can't really see the other cards, but I don't think there was an agenda in this poll, which is unfortunate. So I'm just trying to order the cards as suboptimally for NBN as possible. Just really thinking that over. So that gives me a ton of information at the very least.
Third click, I'll take the money, and then fourth click, I will dirty laundry there. Trash it.
So I dirty laundry in there, so I get my money back, and I take out Ash, which could be annoying, get another data sucker. So I'm kind of back at the start here, but I have data sucker with a couple counters, and I know a bunch of his future draws. And that is probably the pad campaign out there, or the marked accounts. So it's tempting just to put down sneak door right here and start going in. Start digging around the hand. But he does have those NAPDs in there, so I don't think I'd be able to afford to steal those. So I'm just drawing up at the start, seeing if any other decent option presents itself. I kind of want to put down a ferry before I run into some ice. Fast Advance doesn't typically seem to have program trashing too often, but it's, at this point that data sucker is pretty valuable to me. And he did mulligan, so checking that remote could be good, because it could be he's trying to sneak an agenda through if he is have a handful of agendas. So I think so the marked accounts. And if I'm smart, I'll take a credit before I sneak door again, just so I could actually steal an NAPD. I was seeing NAPDs very often in this tournament, almost every day. Yeah, so I go in there just to check it, and I believe it's the pad campaign. So yeah, he reses the pad campaign.
Otherwise it's gonna be something nasty sometimes.
Can't let him sneak an astro through. That would be devastating. So he's icing up. I gotta get him to start resing this ice. He's still at 8 credits.
First click, I'll draw.
Now 9.
Second click, I'll draw.
Let's get us another sneak door there.
Third click, I'll sneak door.
Not too useful. So he is letting me through. So that is a super profitable. So I pull the NAPD,
That is agenda.
and it's points, so I decide to steal it.
Third click, wow.
It's hard, it's like, not a great decision to make, it bankrupts me, whereas I did have some money before stealing that, so now I basically have no money and not real great prospects of getting money. So I just ran R&D, getting them to res some stuff, Although a Draco's not really what I want to be seeing here.
I don't even need to bump it. You have no way to get through it. Just zero out and you have a tag.
Yep.
And so it ends the run, gives me a tag.
Where the hell is my ID?
And I just realized that I don't have my AD out there. It was underneath the heap there. So we found it. I now have Gabe's power again. So he gets his pad campaign money. So I'm under a lot of pressure, and that NAPD put me under a lot of more pressure. It does a sweeps week because I have all these assets I really need to trash. This drip econ is gonna totally screw me over in the late game unless I start dealing with it. So the marked accounts I think I could allow. The pad campaigns I have to get rid of. The marked accounts I'd also like to get rid of. It's only if I have a lot of money though, because he is spending a click. It's like a click for 3 credits, which is really good. That's a good exchange rate, and I pulled other NAPD, and I cannot afford to steal it this time. But that did give me a little bit of money, so I now know that there's another NAPD in his hand.
Let's go HQ.
Okay. No rest.
So he does. I'm just trying to get him to res ice at this point, I think. So I see the fast track. So now I know what's in his hand: fast track and NAPD. I know that there's no astro script that he could try and biotic labor out or something like that anytime soon. So I decide to, because I do have a tag, I decide to, even though I don't see a Scorcher within SanSan, I decide just to play it safe. And so there, he snuck out an agenda. Snuck out a Beal.
First click is sneak door.
And he reses a toll booth. So that, I'm okay with that because I didn't have any credits at the time, so the toll booth doesn't really hit me.
HQ.
And I can deal with that toll booth. Oh, and he has just enough to res to Eli too. But I did bankrupt him, so
I'll spend the 2 clicks.
that's good. So I spend the clicks. This is good. I get the money, get the data sucker. I know I can't steal that NAPD, but there's still another card there. I guess it goes to Ash that it would. Yeah, I'm joking that I'm just making sure it's still there. But that's still okay for me to do. I had already committed the 1 click to go in there, so might as well finish it off and get my money, get my data suckers. Yeah, see, this is where that drip econ, like he was at 0 and he starts off his turn with 2. Really need to do something about that.
Okay, first
I don't like when the corp has free money. So I drew up. I couldn't quite tell what that card was. It might be the same old thing. I think it's the same old thing.
second, third click, fourth click.
So I just go and kill the pad campaign. Bankrupts me, but I have him low on money, and I just want to slow down his climb back up. So he loads up marked accounts again. Slowly building up some more money.
First click.
At this point, if I hit a roto turret, it would it would suck to get the data sucker killed, but I'd be happy with that exchange. I want to get him
Third click, I'll draw.
low on money. So I decide not to continue there. It's just too expensive for the payout, especially when I've kind of seen a lot of his cards. So instead I'm trying to... Oh, and I actually couldn't continue there because the pop-up window requires some money. So there wasn't actually a decision. Alright, get the fairy down. There's some more drip econ just replacing itself. He looks like he just got a sweep, so he's sweeping a full hand of cards. I need to not have a... this is something I'm not real good at. I think it's hard to be good at this, but against NBN now, you don't really want a full hand of cards. You want to be like at 3 cards, just because that really hurts their sweeps week. But it's hard to offload.
So I get 1.
And 2 clicks.
So I knew what was there. I was able to pull off the siphon. And
I'm all done.
okay, I think I messed up there. I took 13. I should have just taken 12. I was in the mode of Desperado there. So I have 1 more credit than I should have had. think a lot of other games in this day, I had Desperado out, so that was just the math that was in my head.
Yeah, totally. You're right. Got it.
And yeah, making sure to get the tags there from the siphon. That is something NBN may care about.
First click, I'll draw.
So I got the Fem in hand. This Fem
Install.
opens up Sneak Door again. So now I
Token on if you want.
Sneak Door for
Second click.
real cheap. 1 credit, and then I get 2 credits and a Data Sucker. So I'm making a credit on a Sneak Door run now,
I'll get 2.
and a Data Sucker. I screwed that up. See, I should be down 1 more credit. I shouldn't have those 2 credits that are in front of me right now, basically, because I took I accounted for Desperado again on that Sneak Door run. So sorry about that, Peter. Just not fully thinking this through. And what I need to be better about here in this situation is just declaring what, like I need to say 2 for Gabe, 1 for Desperado. I need to just consistently do that.
It's me.
So yeah, the Viper keeps me out. Street Big Con feeds him some more.
Marked. And we're going to install.
So that looks really suspicious.
Sneak Door. So that gives me 2 money.
Doing that.
1 money. You have to
Okay, so he caught it this time, thankfully.
and then you
Yes,
tax us.
I was thinking, yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so I get in there, get my Data Sucker, get a little bit of money. The remote looks really suspicious. I don't really have a lot of money to be pressuring that, unfortunately. It's really risky to go in there. But that probably is an Astro script that is going to be scored out.
Second click.
So I'm just going to just going in, making him res ice at least. And that is worst case scenario there. So he's going to get his money back and keep me out.
We'll spend a Data Sucker. And then 2 money.
So I break the Caduceus.
Alright, look at the top one first. Okay, I'll look at the second one. Sure.
Okay, I think that was an Ash because I didn't trash what was there. So it was an Ash, and I think that's an Ash and a SanSan is what's there, yeah. So that is good to know. What I'm trying to draw for here is Armitage. I really need to get Armitage down.
I'll draw. And then after this,
I need Armitage and I need Desperado. So I could stop cheating with the invisible Desperado.
oh, I am going to regret that.
So I'm just trying to decide what to... I think I was like gonna discard the special order, but it's the only one I have in hand. So I got rid of a silencer. I have the Fem out and I have Data Suckers, so I don't really need to get the silencer dagger combo online. Alright, so he installs and res another marked accounts there off on the side.
Okay.
Draw. Code. Oh,
I think you have a click left.
yeah, I got a click left. Why not? I'm going to take more money.
Okay.
Or I think maybe that wasn't a marked account server. There might be another pad campaign. I think it was installed in a new server without ice. And I believe he has pads and marked, so something like that. Really need an Armitage. I think I'm down to 2 Armitage in this.
Chain 1. I'm getting 2.
Huh?
And that. And I'll see the fast track.
Yep.
Okay.
So I do that just because it's better than clicking for a credit, because I get the, you know, at least for one time, because Gabe pays me the money. So I might as well do that once a turn, just to build Data Suckers, if nothing else, when I'm in this situation. I would like a Dirty Laundry right now, or a, yeah, I really need an Armitage. Just kind of locked out. R&D is prohibitively expensive. But the nice thing about R&D is if I could get a Desperado down, I have another memory slot, I could throw down the Yogg. Fem breaks,
And fourth click, I'll forge it.
so I'm just costing him a little bit of money. I didn't really have anything better to do.
Freeze my
just handling some math stuff. So
Press it again. Oh yeah,
I
because
forged
you forged
it.
it. That's
No,
why.
no. So, but the thing is, this
yeah, we're still got a little bit confused here. This, I mean, this wasn't a great play on my part.
yeah, so that
So
was,
yeah, it is on. And they,
I probably should have done that on the remote ice, actually. He might have been more inclined to just get rid of the remote ice since I could get through it so cheap.
right.
So he
Actually, I'm not gonna overwrite. I'm gonna make you
installs over the toll booth new piece of ice.
scavenge for some reason.
Probably just something to make it way less efficient to get in.
did you pay the 1 for that?
No, right. Sorry, man.
No problem. A lot of Netrunner.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 unmarked and take a credit.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I was getting at with that Yogg is I could get the Yogg installed, and then there's indexing somewhere in the deck, so there's a I don't think he's going to defend up R&D any more than it is now, and there's a possible way to exploit that if I get the indexing. I'd be able to build a blown money and then go in there and index and hopefully score out the last agenda or two that I need to win. So that's the R&D situation in this game.
3 from the pad.
So yeah, I think he has 2 pads now.
Install for down 1.
Defending up his future Astro script score there. He could at this point potentially use that fast track to go get the Astro script. And he'd have to time it at a point when... Well, I mean, I guess the problem with that is he'd need more cards because I could always get through to HQ at this point. What I could be doing, I think I'm considering now, is planned assault. I have it in hand, and there's one more... Yeah, so this is what's going on. So he has a lot of money. He's
Siphon.
I have my second siphon there.
Game 1.
And I have 2 clicks I'll spend on the Eli,
3, 4, and 5 gone.
and I will take a total of 12, and I am done. You can cut it if you want.
That's fine. 1, 2,
So that didn't really dent his money too much, but it gave me the money that I need. I also have another couple tags at this point that I think we're just forgetting about. I don't think this is a Psycho graphics deck,
gain 2 credits.
so I don't think this is really going to factor into the game too much. But yeah, we forgot about the extra tags.
Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, last click, I'm going to defeat this mark.
So he loads up the mark there on the other end. So 3 credits come in passively at the start of his turn at this point. I can go start killing them at this with my money at least. I could go in there and
I will draw.
don't necessarily want to do that, but
Second click,
need to prevent this strip econ.
I will draw.
It's too good. Alright, so I finally got to Desperado. I only have 2 of them in there, so this kind of happens sometimes.
Fourth click,
I think I want to run that pad for the 4th click. Because the pad at this point, yeah, it just costs me 3 to kill the pad campaign because Desperado pays out 1.
My turn.
So that's like, oh, Desperado is so good. It just I don't know, that free money on every run. It serves so many purposes. There's not a situation where you can't trash Melange if you have Desperado out.
it's go time.
Snow time.
So he is fast tracking for this Astro script. And he might just throw it down in that server.
This was probably like several turns ago.
Yeah, so he throws it down in the server. Looks like he has a Draco in hand. And he's trying to figure out if... So he out-econs me...
Take a credit.
How much credits does he have? I think 13. He has about 13 credits. So, and I have to pay, at this point, at least 2 credits to get through that server. And then there is the Ash Trace. So, it's close. But I need a lot. Yeah, the Ash Trace with his reoccurring credits. So I really, if I could just get in that server twice, would be enough. It depends what that ice is in front. So I just drew the same old thing. And I don't think there's a much better option there than Siphon for same old thing. So I could put it down and then Siphon. But that wouldn't stop him from scoring out the Astro script and wouldn't dent his economy too much anyway. So it doesn't seem like a great play to me. I think just running into that server at this point would be my best option. If I could get a bit more, if I had a hedge fund at this point, that would be great. Or a sure gamble, I mean. So any more boost of money would make him spend more money on the Ash Trace, and that would be good. So I'm just trying to get him to res. If he doesn't res the... Yeah, so he spends some money. Would have liked for him to spend a little bit more there, but it does keep me out. And I don't want to go HQ because I don't have clicks anymore, and he'd get the pop-up money. So I'm going here third click. If he doesn't res ice in front, I don't know what that is, but if he... Oh, yeah, so that was definitely the right play. That'll keep me out.
Fourth click.
I could probably put that same old thing down as my fourth click, because he is not going to trash it on his turn. I decided to go special order for probably the Corroder. And he scores out the Astro script. With the help of his drip econ. Yeah, so the Astro train has started its rollout. And there's well, he probably doesn't have another Astro in hand because he did fast track for that, and yeah, I've kind of still have a pretty good idea of what his hand looks like. So I had to get rid of the other special order. Shouldn't need it at this point. So I really need to start getting into R&D because I need to snipe the Astro scripts before he draws them at this point. And that's doable. I have the memory slot for the Yogg, so I could put the Yogg down. I could get through the Viper. Draco cost me 1. But I'm going to do some sneak door abuse a little bit more.
Second click, third and fourth click. Trying for a siphon.
So I'm going in for another siphon. I could get through that.
You want for the pop-up, and I don't have enough. I didn't have enough to start.
Yeah, that was folly.
Instead of Data Sucker, so I need 2 for the Eli, 1 for the pop-up, 1 for the Caduceus. Yeah, it does work, I think.
So I think I could barely do this. I spend a Data Sucker on Fem, get it down to 2 strength. I just break the end the run.
So run the trace.
Okay.
Trace 3.
And I'm letting him run the trace.
I'm not gonna boost it.
Yeah, so he gets his 3 money.
Pop-up, I pay 1.
I'm really doing this, I think, for my own econ, so I don't mind that he's... You know, all in all, I'm stealing 1 money from him because I gave him 4 during the run. But it gives me a big boost of money.
And Data Sucker.
Right.
And I think we're done.
Alright, so I gained 1 from the marks. A mandatory draw.
So it helped. It was
I'm going to
worth doing. Forgot the tags again. I'm sure if he was doing psychographics or if he cared about me having a lot of tags, he would be checking me on that a lot more. I'm not intentionally neglecting tags. I'm just forgetting in all the, you know, the math of getting down into that server. But I'm also not going to be clearing those tags, so
Third click, I will use Sneak Door.
Okay.
So I'll pay 1 on the wraparound, 1 there. I'll get 3.
so now with that Desperado, I am getting money on the sneak door run. And it's just a couple ISO clicks. So I see the Draco, and he has a Caduceus in hand. Yeah, those Data Suckers saved me there. I wouldn't be able to get through Eli if it wasn't for those Data Suckers. I didn't fully think that through. I just it seemed like I had enough money to make that happen.
And pay 4 to trash it.
So I run and trash the fully loaded marked accounts for 4 money because Desperado.
mandatory draw.
Slowing down the money still.
So install here for down 2.
So that is, I think, the Caduceus. And he drew another fast track. So if he's going to use that fast track, he wants to make it so I can't get in to the server.
First click I'll draw.
Or slow me down and make it expensive. So I'm looking through my heap. I drew another same old thing. So I don't know. I'm trying to see if there's anything clever I could do here with the same old thing. There are a couple parasites in the deck, so it'd be nice to see one of those soon. There's probably a couple of places that would be useful on. Probably the Eli, or that Caduceus on HQ. Would really soften that server up. But, like, this is why, like, Sneak Door is so great. It caused him to install all that ice on archives, which I don't care about anyway. So I'm Sneak Dooring in, and I've used Sneak Door a lot. It's giving me like all my data sucker tokens, giving me a lot of information. Yeah, but just all that built up on archives, which otherwise he would have spent those resources elsewhere, including that toll booth would have been on our HQ or the remote or something like that.
Worst, you shut down that. And click 4, I will run in there.
Okay. 2, 3.
That's not me.
So these emergency shutdowns, I'm not
For the bottom.
I'm not using super efficiently, but I have them in hand, and I want to play them out to both weaken his sweeps weeks and just to slow him down, you know. Just if he has to spend the money to res that, he's not using that money on something else. And I am getting ready for an attack here on R&D. I'm not sure if I have the indexing yet, but so he just clears the viruses. Not exactly sure why. Maybe just because he figures at this point it's expensive for me to get through his stuff, and I should be very suspicious of yeah, of what that Caduceus ended up being.
So you'll have here 1 money.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll spend 4.
So I spend 4 to break the Caduceus with Fem.
Spend 2.
I spend 2 on the next ice, and then I get 3 money back. So I'm going through the steps here and get the data sucker.
And let's see that one.
Not seeing any more. Those agendas are staying well hidden in the deck. So that's an expensive run.
Second click.
I guess it cost me 3 money. And I need that data sucker token to get through the Viper. So he might have sensed that I was starting to exploit his R&D weakness.
So it just neutralizes. I like the top card.
So the run on R&D now, I spend the data sucker and I get a money back, and it costs me money in data sucker, so it's a neutral run for me. I could just run there for free at this point and look at the top card, which is exactly what I need. I need to make sure he doesn't top deck an astro script at this point. So he takes the money off the marked. He loads up some more money on his marked accounts over there.
There was one on there still.
Oh, no. Plus 4. Plus your number.
And he has a Jackson Howard in hand. I think that might be another Jackson Howard down on the table too.
Yeah, gaining credit. Why not?
You know, he has enough cards in hand, doesn't really want to draw anymore, maybe, and he hasn't rezzed it. If it was drip econ, he probably would have rezzed it by now. So there's a lot of clues that is
Second, third click, I'll use it. It's called indexing.
so
My third
oh yeah, I forgot the indexing was played right at the start. So there's the, and this is where I messed up in that Jackson Howard is on the table. I should have ran there first. He probably would have let me trash it, maybe. So I think there's an astro script in there.
click 4, run in there.
Jackson Howard.
Damn it.
Yeah, so right as I indexed, I realized, oh, there's a face down on the card table I haven't seen yet. So I wonder if that's Jackson Howard, and it totally was. So he's using it, getting back just some econ.
Back in.
Sweeps, Ash, and there's a pad that got mixed in there. Yeah. So just getting some more econ at this point, which is exactly what he needs.
The top card and hope for the best.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
The Ash, not quite sure why.
That's the score. Not
So I got lucky and I saw a Beal. So now I'm at 6 points, 6-4. It looks like he just top decked an NAPD. That might have been. Yeah, he gets an NAPD. So that indexing worked out, but it could have easily just failed. I think that's the last time I could trigger indexing. So he installs over R&D. Got all his centrals at 3 deep. And his remote is at 2 deep, so it's a lot of ice.
First click, I will draw a card.
So draw another sneak door. I don't have a sneak door on the table anymore because I decided to start targeting R&D. So now this is really expensive to get through Eli. So I decided to just let it stop me. Build up a little more money. Okay, so I would have seen the Jackson Howard there. So he has 2 Jackson Howards in hand. Installs one of them. And a PD in hand. And he's just trying to get his sweeps weak at this point. He really wants sweeps to get him that burst of money he needs. And then just waiting until he draws his Astros. And there's Astro for the win. Seems to be the game plan at this point. And these servers are just becoming prohibitively expensive for me to get into.
Okay. First click legwork. Spend 2. I'll spend a data sucker.
So I legwork in.
I'll spend 2 money on the Caduceus. I'll spend 1 to pop up, giving you 1. Eli, I'll spend my last. I'll spend 2 clicks.
Okay, so I think that all worked out. That was a lot of math going on there.
Sucker. Yeah, and I'll.
So I'm going to look at 3 cards here. And I don't... Yeah, yes, NAPD is the agenda in hand too, so I'll probably see that.
3. Damn it.
Yeah, let's look at the NAPD when if I had 1 more money, I would have just won the game there. And I think yeah, I had 1 click left, so I could have just taken a credit and done all that, but I wasn't even fully thinking of all the math involved that I would end up with 3 credits.
I will draw a card.
But also, I was just like, I was figuring the game's kind of gone on long enough. I'm not seeing the agendas, and he's drawn up a lot of cards recently, so legwork was probably going to give me an agenda. And it kind of did. So he sweeps for 3 money. Building up that bank again. Installs something else in the remote. So now we have a SanSan, an Ash, and something else in that remote. I didn't quite see what that was. I think it... Oh, yeah. I see what he did. He put the NAPD down there. I don't think he advanced it. If I was him, I probably would have wanted to advance that.
First click, I will dirty laundry. Spend first click and then.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I should dirty laundry here. I don't want to dirty laundry that remote because it is a Jackson Howard.
I'll spend 2 clicks. I'll spend a data sucker. I'll spend a money. I'll get a money.
See the top card?
And I'll get a data sucker. Yeah.
And I see the Astro script for the win. So I was just going in there as like an economic run, basically, just to build up my money. I wasn't expecting to pull an agenda. And I was probably going to try and go into the remote, I think was my plan. But I top-decked Astro script that he would have top-decked and scored if I didn't. So it was an expensive run, but it paid out. And I wasn't even considering that I would score an agenda there. I was just going in trying to get some money. I figured it was basically like 2 clicks for 3 money and an access and a data sucker, and it seemed kind of worth it, especially when I was so low in money. So that's the game. Thanks for watching.